volunteers through Game On activities. It's part of Action for Healthy Kids Wednesday Wellness webinar series that takes place on the second Wednesday of each month throughout the school year. We're excited to provide you with some strategies today to get volunteers involved in your school's wellness plan. I'd like to take a minute to introduce myself before we get started. My name is Sean Wade, and I am the Manager of Volunteer Initiatives here at Action for Healthy Kids. I work with our national organization, our network of schools, and our partner organizations to develop strategies for engaging volunteers into our school health and wellness efforts. That includes parents and family members, youth and other community members, as well as nonprofits, businesses, and other community partners along the way. Let's take just a second to review some logistics before we get started. You see a control panel on the right side of your screen. You can use your telephone or speakers to listen to the presentation, but everyone will be muted just to avoid static and background interference. There's also a dialog box at the bottom of your control panel. You can type questions into that dialog box as we go along. We'll try to get them answered later in the presentation or via email following the webinar if we don't have time at the end. The webinar is being recorded. Links to the recording and resources will be sent to you 2 to 3 business days after the webinar. And we will be sharing the PowerPoint slides after the webinar as well. I want to take a minute to talk about who Action for Healthy Kids is. Our vision is a world in which every kid is healthy, active, and ready to learn. We fight childhood obesity, undernourishment, and physical inactivity by helping schools become healthier places. Our vision is a world in which every kid, as I mentioned, healthy, active, and ready to learn. Our network is made up of moms, dads, teachers, students, school and community leaders, and school wellness experts who have all banded together to create healthier learning environments for our children. We believe that everyone has a part to play in ending the nation's childhood obesity epidemic, and we believe our programs, tools, and resources make that possible. And also our volunteers that we'll talk about today getting involved through programs in our schools all over the country. We were founded in 2002 by the Surgeon General David Satcher, and today we have more than 110,000 members. We also partner with dozens of professional associations, government agencies, and corporations at both the national and local level. So why do we focus on schools? Schools reach most children and adolescents in the community. They also spend most of their time there, around 1,200 hours per year, students do in the classroom. Most importantly, however, healthy kids learn better. As you can see on the screen there, kind of where the healthy kid equation comes in. For that reason alone, schools should be addressing healthy eating and physical activity. Today, we're here to talk about getting volunteers engaged in that process. Studies have shown that undernourished children tend to have low energy, are often irritable, and have difficulty concentrating. This affects their academic performance, so anything we can do and our communities can do to improve healthy eating behaviors can have a positive impact on student success. Today's Wellness Wednesday webinar will discuss utilizing Game On activities as a way to introduce volunteers to your school's wellness efforts and to keep them engaged. Many of the ideas that will be shared today are referenced in Action for Healthy Kids' signature program. That's Game On, as you can see on the screen there. Game On is a free online program that you can use to practice good nutrition and physical activity habits at school. The program is organized as a 6-step process to build a healthy school. In step 4, find activities. There are more than 80 Eat Better and Move More activities that include best practices, resources, and creative ideas for how you can engage volunteers in the great work that's happening at your school. And in step 5, engage families and the community. There are even more resources specifically designed around recruiting and engaging volunteers. So those are the ones that we'll focus on today, step 4 and step 5. I'll be referencing some of the Game On activities throughout the webinar today, and I encourage you to check out all of the activities throughout the Game On program for more resources and ideas to support your programming. Today's objectives. At Action for Healthy Kids, we want to help our members and supporters learn about the issues, take action in their schools, and work to transform their school culture. So our goals for today's webinar: first, learn. We want you to walk away from the webinar understanding how parents, families, and community members can be a part of their school wellness program. And then act. We hope you'll gather some ideas and strategies from the webinar on how to take action so you can feel comfortable engaging volunteers through Game On activities. And finally, transform. Want you to be able to build on your success and empower volunteers to become more involved. In order to do that, I'll show some examples of how you can use the Game On activities as a catalyst to introduce volunteers into your wellness programs, and from there be able to build a stronger volunteer program. So let's start today by talking just a little bit about the value of engaging volunteers in your school's wellness efforts. So successful volunteer engagement must be a mutual partnership between you and the volunteers that has clear benefits for the volunteers, but there are also some very clear benefits to the school for engaging families, friends, and community volunteers. So what does that look like? Some of those benefits might include some of the ones that you see on the screen now, but really, volunteers can help meet critical needs in the school. Each school has different needs at different times, and different groups of parents and community organizations will be able to help meet those needs. We'll talk a little bit later about creating a plan to address those needs, but the school's first responsibility is to identify what their current needs look like. So with Game On activities, you may have a need for some volunteers to help with a health fair that you're hosting, or a family fitness night, or a fun run. Those are ideas where volunteers can really step in and help to make those events successful. There are also many other Game On activities that volunteers might be able to hit a specific need. A yoga instructor, for example, might be able to provide a demonstration at a family fitness night. Or a chef might be able to come in and do a demo. So look at the needs that you have for your specific activities and some of the people in your community that might be able to help meet those. Volunteers can also help you do more with limited resources. They're able to help schools accomplish more without, and when done well, without costing more resources. They can also help to build new connections. With both parents and community organizations. Building real relationships with volunteers will help the schools in the future as they as new needs might arise, or as parents and the community want to feel more connected to the school. Engaging volunteers in that way can help get more parents involved and more community members involved in the great work that's happening. Along those same lines, volunteers and other local organizations often have other resources that they can bring to the table, whether they're ideas, donations, in-kind gifts, or other people to bring with them as they get to know the needs of your school better. So I do encourage you, as we talk today specifically about Game On activities, think about who in your network might have the skills or interests that complement or meet the needs of your school. Then you can brainstorm the ways that you can engage individuals, organizations, businesses as volunteers to help meet those needs, and use the Game On activities that we talk about as a way to introduce volunteers or organizations or family members of your students in the school wellness efforts. You can also check out our archived webinar on parent and community engagement from last fall to learn more about the hows and whys of volunteer recruitment and engagement. But today we'll talk specifically about using Game On activities as a way of getting started with volunteer engagement. So I'm going to start kind of big picture with a quick overview of how we recommend schools going about engaging volunteers, and then go into a little bit more of an example of how to use Game On activities specifically to enact some of these strategies. So we recommend 4 strategies to increase volunteer engagement. The first is to create a vision and really develop a plan within your school community. In order to start there, you really need to understand who your community is and what the needs are. So that's kind of the first step, is identifying the needs, understanding the community, and then developing that plan on how to maximize volunteer engagement, or what you really want to accomplish with engaging volunteers. The second step is to create a welcoming, inclusive environment. So this really sets the stage for everything else that comes next, being warm and friendly and helpful, smiling, greeting people. A lot of that stuff, it seems like maybe should go without saying, but in fact does need to be talked about, and a lot of times the school staff will need to be trained on some of those ways of kind of customer service tactics for engaging volunteers, being warm and open to volunteers as they enter the school. That's really going to make the parents, community members, family members feel like they're welcome and like their presence there is valued. So you want to use friendly, some positive language. Start by telling volunteers what you or they can do instead of what can't be done. For most of us, no is kind of a trigger word that sets defensiveness or negative emotions in place. So find a way to be truthful with volunteers without the negative emotional consequences. And providing translated materials really can show that you welcome all parents and community members if that's a need within your school community. The third step is to educate and inform your community about school wellness issues and opportunities. So this can be done through Game On activities by explaining the why behind why you're doing a certain activity. We'll talk a little bit later about hosting a Healthy St. Patrick's Day event and use that as an example of something that people can get involved in. So explaining why a Healthy St. Patrick's Day event is an important thing to do. You know, explaining we're going to have vegetables and other green fruits rather than cupcakes because it's going to be a healthier, you know, more nutrition-focused event, and that goes to support our wellness goals as a school. So things like that where you can use individual activities, specific activities to broaden awareness and understanding of wellness issues within the school. A lot of times that can be a key barrier in preventing volunteers or family members from taking part if they don't understand the why. Research shows that really a lot of parents in all communities, including underserved communities, feel that local schools and parents have that joint responsibility to influence children's eating and physical activity attitudes and behaviors, and they're really interested in serving as wellness advocates. They just are looking for more information and education about school wellness in order to take action. So if you can leverage some of the stuff that you're already doing, some of these Game On activities that are part of the program and part of your wellness plans already, use those to get volunteers, to get parents involved, and reach out and kind of broaden their understanding of what's happening, then that can be a huge win on all sides. So really, you know, explaining the why I think is a big part of it. I think it's also important to tailor your message to the family and children's school experience. So really talk through about what's happening at your own school. It's not kind of a one-size-fits-all program. Wellness programs are really most effective when they're tailored specifically to the needs of an individual school. So really use that and use the stories that are happening within your school to craft your message. It's going to make it more interesting and more personal and more effective in getting people involved. And then the fourth strategy, the fourth step is to build trust and share responsibility with community members and family members as they're taking action. So that kind of goes along with really being transparent in the last step of explaining the why and tailoring the message to your individual school. But it goes beyond that. It goes to giving parents a voice, not just as participants, but also as leaders and decision makers. And it could be parents, it could be a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle, or it could be a community member that lives across the street from the school and is really excited about getting involved in the school's wellness programs. So any of those folks and more could be key decision makers, key influencers, could take a leadership role on the school wellness team, and they really could bring you know, more sustainability for the long term for your wellness programs. So we talked a little bit about family members getting involved, a little bit about community members getting involved, and I wanted to just take a brief minute to talk about the different motivations and strategies for those different groups of people. So with parents and families, there's been some research on, you know, what their motivations are in getting involved in school from the CDC and from California Project Lean. They really want to, parents especially want to believe that their actions are improving their children's learning and well-being. And so they will participate because it makes them feel good, to show that they care, because they feel it's their responsibility, their duty as parents. And the parents that we work with at Action for Healthy Kids tell us that they're seeking a healthier environment for their child when they get involved, that they feel passionate about a particular topic, or that they just want to make a difference in the school and they're looking to boost their children's academic achievement. So those are kind of some of the reasons that parents might get involved. It might look look a little bit different for community partners or community volunteers. Some might come with, a faith-based organization may want to match up with a school based on issues that their congregation has prioritized. A university might want to get involved because their students want new experiences or some to develop their leadership skills. Or a local business might be looking for ways to engage their employees outside of the office. So there's lots of different motivations that come into play when we're talking about the difference between parents and community volunteers. So there are different outreach methods that you can then use once you understand what those motivations are to get those parents and community members involved, especially within the Game On activities. If it's a one-day event or a brief event or a longer-term program, those are going to take different outreach methods as well. Parents may respond best to a phone call or a note in the newsletter or sending a flyer home with their students, whereas community volunteers, you may need to reach out to a larger organization to get them involved. Their kind of umbrella organization, whether that's a faith-based organization or a local business. You may need to go face-to-face. You stop by the yoga studio or the dance studio and talk to them face-to-face and say, hey, this is an opportunity that we have. Would you guys like to get involved? And here's how it could be beneficial for your business too. So there's different outreach methods that you can use, and providing them with different opportunities is going to be a key there as well. And the nice thing about Game On is that it covers so many different types of opportunities that you can really use to get those different types of populations involved. So we're talking about Game On activities as a way of introducing volunteers to the wellness efforts that are at your school already. They have, as you can see on the screen, as you've probably seen looking through the Game On program before, we have activities that hit all aspects of a school, nutrition and physical activity focus ideas for everywhere that you can see. And each of those activity ideas within those school areas has ideas and tips for engaging volunteers within them. So you can click on any one of those activities that looks interesting, whether it's something that's happening in the classroom, like breakfast in the classroom, or something that's happening outside on the playground, like sprucing up your Foursquare court. They all have different tips for how to engage volunteers within. And those tips might be something as simple as with breakfast in the classroom, inviting a couple parents to come in each morning, setting up a schedule for parents to come in. Maybe they come in once a week or once every other week, and helping to serve those classroom breakfasts. Or it might be on the playground that you're reaching out to a local business to come out and send 10 volunteers to help you repaint some playground graphics. So those different tips are included in each different activity, and in a minute I'll walk through one activity in particular and kind of show you as an example step by step of how you might be able to use those to make your event even, or to make the activity or event, depending on what the case may be, even greater. And going along with the Game On activities, there are a lot of different resources that we have available beyond just Game On our website. You can check out a few of them here, and I'll walk through, when we get to the example, I'll walk through those with you as well. But on our volunteer page, which you can get to just from the top of our actionforhealthykids.org website, we have plenty of resources to help as schools are planning events. We also have resources on our everykidhealthyweek.org page. Every Kid Healthy Week is coming up in April this year, April 24th through 28th. So we have a lot of schools, and hopefully you are part of that as well, that are already planning their Every Kid Healthy Week events or looking for ideas for what they can do during Every Kid Healthy Week. So there's tons of different ideas and resources on the Every Kid Healthy Week page as well. So you're welcome to go check those out for ideas, step-by-step guides, toolkits, and even as detailed as for example, like a health fair step-by-step process of how you could go about hosting one of those. So lots of different resources that are available there. You can also look at our event and volunteer management tool that is available on either one of those pages. That is a way that you can register your event with us. So if you're a grant-funded school with Action for Healthy Kids, that's a requirement to register your Every Kid Healthy Week event on our event and volunteer management tool to put yourself on the map and get counted as hosting your event during Every Kid Healthy Week this year. But even if you're not a grant-funded school, we would love to see you register your event there. There's some really great tools that you can use to manage registration and volunteers as well. So those are all resources that we have that really the goal is to try to make this as easy as possible for you to get more folks involved, to get parents involved and the community involved in your events. So now I'll go through one example that is a specific example on how you can use one of the Game On activities to really engage volunteers and use it as kind of an introduction to getting involved with your school wellness policies. So the monthly activity for this month is host a healthy St. Patrick's Day party. So there's some great ideas on how to do that. You can, you know, as you see on the left side of your screen there, create an over the rainbow using healthy foods and fruits and sugar-free or low-sugar cereal. But there's also some ideas, and this is an example of what the engaging volunteers or the volunteer tips section on each of these activities looks like. So you can see there's a couple from simple to slightly more complex ideas. So say, for example, with this Healthy St. Patrick's Day activity that you are looking to do a healthy snack and also have a physical activity component. And you know that there is a dance studio in town that does Irish dance classes, and so you can reach out to them and see if they have somebody that's available to come and teach an Irish dance studio or an Irish dance class as part of your Healthy St. Patrick's Day event. And you also want to reach out to parents and say, hey, we would love to have you bring in your favorite green healthy snacks to serve at lunchtime. So in order to do that, what you might do is go to our website and the volunteer page of our website, as you can see here, and you go down to the school events planning resources, and you can click on the school events planning guide. And in this guide, there's some great resources about how to plan an event and all of the different things that you can do with your event. But I'm more interested right now in the resources that are available in the appendix. So I can start with an event timeline template. And so this is in a Word document form that you can edit and take and look and see. You know, some of these items may not apply to this event. You know, I might not need to start 8 to 10 weeks out, but I do need to promote my event. I do need to determine which activities that I'm going to have, determine my audio and visual needs, and get the volunteers and signage if I need that kind of thing. So I can edit this as necessary and take a look at the timeline and say, you know, here's a good time to start is maybe 2 to 4 weeks out or 4 to 6 weeks out in order to plan this event well. And then once I have my timeline set up and I've got that to a place where I've got my plan in place, then I can start to reach out to parents and reach out to the volunteers that I've got on that I know can be engaged through the dance studio. So I might reach out to, for example, the Flakel Matley totally non-copyright protected Irish dance studio that's in town and send him an email that looks like that. Or I might include, use some of our sample newsletter copy and include an item in the newsletter that asks parents to bring in their favorite healthy green snacks. I may also then be able to use the flyer from the toolkit and edit that and send that home with students so you can see what that flyer looks like here. And again, it's editable, so you can just add your school name and the event and the type of activities that that you're having. So really, it's very user-friendly. The types of resources that we have available are very easy to edit and easy to make your own depending on the needs of the event. Once you get to that point, you can update the run of show that we have available. Maybe you want to have a specific list of what all is happening that day. We're going to have K through 2 breakfast or lunch at 11 o'clock, and then we're following that up with 3 through 5 at 11:45, and so we're going to make sure that we have the right parents involved and enough food at each time. And then the dance instructor is going to come in at 1 o'clock and work with each level of each grade level at that point. So you can really edit these and make them your own using those with the Game On activities. There's also a sign-in sheet that's available there. You can have volunteers sign in or parents sign in as they come along. Afterwards, after the event, you host the event. It's a great, healthy St. Patrick's Day. Lots of delicious, healthy, green foods, Irish dance. Everybody has a great time afterwards. You can use some of the other resources there, like the survey that asks parents, for their suggestions on how we can make it better next time. You also want to make sure that you're reaching out and saying thank you to any of the parents that came out to bring in food, and to the dance studio for coming in and teaching a dance class. If you have great parents, great volunteers, great community members that came out and helped out, you can nominate them for a Healthy School Hero Award, which is our annual kind of Best of Volunteer Award. So you can read more about that on our volunteer page as well, and take a look at that for a way to go above and beyond, or to recognize volunteers that have gone above and beyond. And then finally, you really want to be able to sustain the progress that you've made, the success that you've had in getting volunteers involved with that one event. Ask them to be leaders. You can ask them to lead the next event or recruit their friends and family. You can invite them to join the wellness team, and you really want to bake that into the school culture so that it continues to be part of what parents think about, community members think about when they think about your school. So now that's kind of the last thing that I wanted to touch on was the sustainability. So we'll open it up for questions. We just have 1 minute left, and it looks like no questions here. So if you do have other questions, then please go ahead and add those to the box or send me an email, and we'll go ahead and make sure that we get those answered afterwards. But I do want to thank everybody for joining us for the webinar, and invite you all to stay up to date on success stories, health tips, physical activity, games, volunteer opportunities, and more by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Flickr, and YouTube. I will also be sending a follow-up email shortly with the recording and resources mentioned today, and so keep your eye out for that. And with that, happy Wednesday. Be well. Thanks, everyone.